Dude, what the hell? Nice to see you, Carl. Hey, everybody, this is Carl. He's going to be our guest star today on Audi Vapors. Welcome back to Audi Vapors. Today we have a Super Bowl Sunday build for you guys. We will get down to that. This way you can build a new coil with fresh wick and some good Ejuice for the game. One quick disclaimer, build at your own risk. We are not responsible for any injuries, fires, or anything of that nature. We have the experience and we build at our own best knowledge and know-how.
Okay, that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and start with our build. Today we are going to use 26 gauge Kenthal wire from Example Box, of course. Awesome guys. And the piece you're going to want is going to be about 1 foot long. It gives you a little extra to play with. And a lot of times you'll have a little curve like this. We're doing a single wrap build, so just kind of straighten it out a little bit. And the build we're going to be doing is a 2.5 millimeter inside diameter 6 wraps.
And it should ohm out to 0.36 to 0.38.
Right, which is really good. That's a low wattage range, and at that low of a wattage range, you're looking at like 25 to 50 watts.
Yep. Really
good it's a decent cloud chasing coil, but really good for flavor. So we're going to be using the Coil Master jig here. As you can see, super simple to use. So for those of y'all that have never done this, if you look at the top here, you got your little holes to insert them in, and then it comes out the back end right here, depending on which way. So what I like to do is I like to insert it and leave just enough to where I can grab a hold with my finger, like so. Now doing this with the single strand is kind of tricky because it'll bunch up on itself instead of spreading out, so you have to be careful doing this part. But take and slide this over. And you got to kind of get it to where it sets down like that.
Yeah, but you don't want to squeeze it in really tight. Okay. You just want to let it kind of work its way.
Got 1, 2, 3. And you see how you can see the... There we go. See, there's 3. And that's actually 2 plus the leg, which makes 3 total. See it? So you got 2 plus the leg, so that's 3. So we want to go 4, 5, and then 6. Okay. Now if you look, I'll get my hand here so it'll focus on it. Focus. Okay. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 2 legs. And the legs always count as half, so that's 6. So what I do here is I gently pull out. Set this down for a second. Then I take and put it on the coil jig reversed, like so. And I do this just so I can straighten this leg out right here. So see, you take and just kind of, sorry, let me get that a little closer. Thank you, that's a lot better. So you just kind of straighten it out a little bit to where she looks like she's supposed to. Then, get our snippers here. And we're just going to kind of cut right there. And real quickly, let me pull this out so you can see it. And there is our first coil. It's not a very big one, but that works. That'll ramp up very nicely. So,
and same thing for the other one. We aren't going to build the other one on camera just because we don't need to. As long as you build the other one exactly the same, you should be in business.
Yep. So I'm going to take 2 seconds here just right off camera and do this other one. So I will come right back to you. And we're back. So now we have coil number 1.
And coil number 2.
Okay, so we're going to start with one side. And this deck we're building on, by the way, is the Druga.
Yeah, this is the one that we were always talking about being a pain in the butt to wire up.
So anyways, you start by working it in here, and I always leave it loose so I can move the deck around a little bit.
And the screwdriver is moving. Is your boo-boo underneath the table?
Yeah. So what you do with this one, because it's a 2-post, is you can see, I'll give you a close-up real quick. What I do is I put it in, and you can see I bend the wires over so it'll stay in place. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull this out for a minute just to get it out of the way.
I'm going to come in with mine here.
He's going to do the same thing and stick it in the same way. And then he'll bend over
the same way.
Once you get the spacing just right, you bend it over.
And
go ahead and pull it once you're good.
I think I'm good.
We're a little off, but not bad. We need to bring this one in a little bit, so what we'll do is we'll just reinsert our, like that, and we'll just bring it closer. And we'll just bend that a little more. And that's good. Now it looks a little funky right now, but I promise we'll get this fixed up here in a second. So, next thing we do, get your Phillips screwdriver, because this is a Phillips heads. And we're just going to start by gently
snugging them.
And you want to go gentle because it's going to try to start moving it like it just did with that one. So sometimes you just got to kind of put your fingers, or at least I do, I'll put my fingers on the coil until I get it tight so they don't move.
And I've always just get them snug at first, because when you start leveling the two coils out, it'll loosen up a little bit.
Yes, but we'll go over that in a second. Okay, now double check. Spacing's still good. And again, this coil right here looks a little funky. We're going to fix that in a second. But the first thing we're going to do is take our snippers. We're just going to come, can you grab that tail, please? The tail of that wire.
Yeah.
We're just going to, and always grab the tail if you can, because these things will go flying. Grab that one. And this is more safety for you and everybody else, because these tails will fly.
And they will get stuck in your foot, your big toe.
And it doesn't feel good.
You never know. Just imagine stepping on a Lego or a thumbtack. Nobody wants that.
Okay. Now, as you can see, all our tails are snipped off. So the next thing we're going to do here, I'm going to set this back down for a minute, guys, so you have to bear with me, is we're going to take our jig again, and I'm just going to start one side at a time. This time I'm going to tighten it up so it doesn't move on me, because I need to be able to move this. Stick your jig in there. We're going to kind of bring it up and level it out. And what you want to do is you want to have it sitting as level as possible. And I always take my cap to match and make sure that the coil is dead even with the airflow. That makes for the best results. And right there, we're about spot on. So, come over here to this other side. Do the same thing. Just stick it in. First thing you want to do is straighten it out. And then we're just going to shoot straight across like this.
That way, looking right at it, it only looks like one coil.
And again, use our cap. And that's just about perfect. So, we got our coils on there. One leg looks a little longer than the other, but ain't much I can do about it now. It'll still work.
So now we snug up our... This is something I like to do, is snug up the things, because see, I kind of barely twisted that and it tightened up some more. These don't have to be tight, they just got to be snug.
You don't want them Superman tight, but they do need to be snug, because if not, they'll short out. And shorting out a coil sucks. Okay, now we wick. Now at the 2.5, I always like to go about right there.
So that'd probably be about as wide as a finger.
And that's about all the more you really need for a 2.5 millimeter inside diameter coil. There's one.
Here's the handle of our Coil Master tweezers. It's probably just a little bit wider than the tweezers there.
And then he's going to go ahead and start peeling the outside. I always peel the outside layer off.
That way you don't get the stuff it collects when you set it on the table, and you get better flavor this way.
It seems to juice up a little bit better.
And this is the thicker part of the cotton here. See, now this is the fluffy stuff. See the difference? Peel the other end off.
Okay, now he's done that one, and while he's doing the other one, we're going to do the safety part of this, okay? So you're going to take this, you're going to switch this over to meter, 0.38, right on. Now, we're going to take ceramic tweezers here, and we're going to pulse, which we're going to switch to fire, and we're going to pulse these and check them, which, forgive me guys, I'm going to set this down to do this just to make sure. We'll zoom this in a little bit so you can see the prettiness of this. Ooh, hot spots, see? Okay, so we need to tweakify a little bit here. So we're gonna I'll try that. Okay, that one's firing good, but this one is not playing nice. And this is part of it, running a coil. You gotta get everything just right. And sometimes it takes a minute. Let's try the old strumming method. I love the strumming method, it works. Okay, we're getting that, but we're a little hot here, so I'm gonna just kind of tweak her a little. There we go, we're starting to get closer. I think I need to tweak the outside of this one just a little more. So we'll strum this a couple more times. Strumming method works great for tweaking a coil. You'd be impressed at how... Okay, see? Just do it again. And I always use ceramic tweezers because you can... The nice thing about ceramics is you can touch them while you're tweaking and it won't short out. If you do this with metal tweezers, don't, because you have to it'll short out the coil if you're not careful, and that can be a bad thing. And I'm sorry this takes a second, guys, but you don't rush perfection. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now the next step I always like to do, which, by the way, this is our juice of the day, Vaptasia Milk of the Poppy, and this is brought to you by a local sponsor, Amy's House of Pain. Thank you very much, Amy. Now what I do here is I like to take my juice, and just to help out the wicking process and keep you from burning your cotton, is I always just drop a little juice on each coil.
You can see how that steamed up when you did that.
Yeah, and that just cools off the coil a little bit, and it helps the wicking process.
And now I'm gonna bring in the wick.
Now to wick, all you do is you take this and you just hold, I like to hold right here and then just start twisting the tail until you get a nice tail like that. And then slide it through just like that. And I always start, when it gets to this point, I'll try and twist the cotton just to make sure, because you want it to go about halfway through. And I always get it to the point where when you pull, you can see how it just barely tugs on the coil. Just barely. So we're going to do that, and we're just going to kind of with that one. And my boy here's going to come in and do the second one. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Let's shut that off for a minute. A little tighter. And the reason you do that with this tight spot, because this right here is going to get snipped off, so it's not a worry. So get that end as tight as you can. And don't be afraid to use tweezers like he's doing, but once you get it started going, you got to roll that cotton. Oh, malfunction. Got it. Sorry, cotton's being a pain. Hold on. This is part of it, though. There you go. And you see he's twisting, and it just starts sliding right through as he twists. A little more. Oh, sorry, guys. Ah. Okay, right about there. Sorry about that. Accidentally bumped the table.
And there's two methods to this.
The best way I like to do this, in my opinion, the easiest way to do this is you take your deck to the side, and I always just kind of push it down like so, and I'll cut. Oh crap! Sorry, I cut right at the base. Do the same thing with this. Cut right at the base. Then do the same thing here. Put it down. And the reason you cut it right there is so that way when you tuck it into the juice well, it is perfect right there. Now, everybody's got their own way of fluff job, and I'm going to go off camera because my fluff job is my secret.
I was going to do it. I'll do one, you do the other. This is...
He can show his
I'll show you my
job.
flush job. Because there's one way, there's this
Everybody's
way.
Got their own fluff, and it's just my fluff's my fluff. But you want to make sure you fluff up the
And then
tails.
there is this way, which is the comb out method, which is another nice little way to do it.
But you don't want that.
Quicker and easier. Get this off, because that stuff will catch fire.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna bring it in with the heat.
Just a second here. Okay.
Bring her in with the heat.
And this part right here is...
Blocka, 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 blocka.
You just want to put a little juice right there on both coils. Then as soon as you get it on both coils, you just want to kind of pulse it a little bit.
Juice
Not a
bottles
lot.
are pretty stiff.
Okay. Now what I'm going to do is the all-important tuck. Now with the tuck, here's a screwdriver. I like to use screwdriver personally. So I'm going to turn this back off. And I do the screwdriver method, and you just kind of just gently tuck her in. And this is how I start. These screwdrivers with the Coil Master kit just work great for doing this. And then you come underneath here and just kind of push it off to the posts. So you see when it's tucked in, you get your nice pretty airflow underneath here. You got open juice well here, so your cotton is hitting in the corners. And that's ideal, at least for me. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just start and tuck it in. You see how it kind of bunches up over like that. So you just take your screwdriver and you just kind of move it over, and we'll juice this up once this is done, and that'll help kind of control the cotton a little better. This is just kind of getting the cotton in place to start with. Okay. Now, as you can see, we're wicked up. Now he's going to juice it real quick, and then we're going to
come in with the sauce.
And here's the point where you really want to just don't go gonzo, but just take your time, get your cotton all juiced up till she soaks up, and then put some juice in the well.
You can fill the juice well up and do it this way, or you can just go right on top.
But you don't want to get too much in, because then you get some spit back.
Which that is a go. We can finish the tucking so it'll stay.
See, we got a little extra juice in here, and the well's kind of full, but that's all right. See, now that the cotton's all nice and juiced up, she moves a little easier, so we're just kind of tweaking where the cotton is, like so. Then you take your cap and you sit it. I'm not going to tilt it. You'll have to forgive me. There's a lot of juice in here, but you take your cap and line your coils up with your cap. You set it down. Make sure she sets flush, which this Druga has a tight seal. Anyways, you set it flush.
Well, let's show them the ohms. What's reading that?
Oh,
we said.
Forgive me. Forgive me.
0.36, 0.38, right?
Yeah. Now, when you tweak and add cotton, it's going to change your ohms a little bit, but 0.39, which
0.36, 0.38. That's can't
pretty
get
close.
any closer than that.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump out of FaceTime and go Be right back, and we'll put this on the deck
and the specs, the flavor, everything.
All right, we'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, so now build's done. Got the deck on the mod. Just to show you that it's showing accurate, 0.38 as promised. We're going to run it at 40 watts. Recommended is 25 to 50. We're going to run it at 40. 50's, I think, be a little warm, so here we go. Nice and cool. Definitely some good milky white cloud on that one. That's a good flavor.
Yeah, what you get on that?
Cream and some fresh crushed up strawberry.
Milky.
I like it's kind of a cross between strawberry syrup and fresh crushed strawberries and inside ice cream.
Ooh. Oh yeah. What'd you get? Milk and strawberry.
Definitely an everyday vape, I would say.
Yeah, I almost kind of get a Sunday note too, a little bit. Like with the, I can get the CD on the strawberry.
So there you go, guys. I mean, it's a simple single coil build, or it's dual coil on the deck, but a single strand build. Not too hot. It's actually a nice cool vape. If you like the cooler vapes, good on the cloud production. Flavor's still good. So there you go. Stay tuned, because here in the next coming weeks we'll be having other videos, and we'll be doing a little bit more intricate coil builds, like maybe parallel, twisted, stuff like that. So please make sure and stay tuned.
Get all strapped up with the drill. You know what I mean? Blocka blocka.
And if you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button, hit the ring dinger.
Hit the ring dinger, yeah.
Got to make sure so that way you get notified when we upload a new video. Our links to our Instagram, Facebook, and all that will be down in the description below. Please subscribe on those to us as well.
And let us know in the comments if you'd like to see a Super Sunday review on Sundays, and then a build every Saturday. Let us know in the comments what you think about that. Or we can have a super satisfying build Saturday and a Super Sunday review. Let us know. We'd like to know.
And with that, send you out with the cloud.